Welcome to episode 10 of Ask M. I wish there was like fireworks or confetti or something because I feel like 10 is a big deal, but I don't have any of that. It's freezing cold in this gym, and so I'm gonna stand here for as long as I can because this is the only warm spot, and I'm just so sick of the cold. I was all excited. Remember the pumpkins and the whole like holiday festivity? I'm over it. I really want summer, so I'm gonna stay here until I'm warm. But this is gonna be a fun episode because it's all about the challenge that starts January 11th. Update, I'm still on some decaf. I don't know why I can't kick decaf. I still spend money at Starbucks. It's pointless, but for some reason, I still like it. But my teas that I'm making are incredible, and they should be for sale soon. Me and my friend Natalie have been working really hard on some really great medleys. One's for sleep, one's for leaky gut, one's for anxiety, a coffee replacement, so like herbal coffee. I think I'm gonna call it superhero coffee. We just have so many teas that are like really awesome because they are very effective. They're not just delicious, but they are actually, herbal medicine is so underrated. So it's just awesome to see the same results with supplements that you can get with herbs that you can get anywhere. So we're making these fun tea medleys, and they should be for sale pretty soon, hopefully by the time the challenge rolls around. The other update that I have for you guys, outside of the challenge starting January 11th, I'm taking on nutritional therapy clients. And so if you're in Denver or know someone in Denver, or you want to come visit me in Denver, I just can't get over the success I've already seen with people with hyperglycemia, people with autoimmune issues, including Hashimoto's. It's just incredible to see what results can happen when you fully support and balance the body with supplements. So that's like amazing. I'm doing that here in Denver. And then lastly, I should soon have my product launched via Kickstarter. So that's my new project that I'm working on really hard for you guys, and I can't wait for you guys to get your hands on it because it's amazing. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? Today, since it's all about the challenge, January 11th, which is an amazing 21-day superhero challenge that starts with a bunch of people from all over. You get an email a day from me. Every other day is a workout, and then the other days besides the every other day are nutritional facts and ways for you guys to build your own plate and figure out your macros. And then I have some cool guest speakers coming on talking about emotional eating and brain activity and really cool, fun, nerdy stuff that I think you guys are gonna love. But I wanna make sure that you guys have all the tools you need before we begin. And so leading up to January 11th, it's very important to know what is kind of like involved. And so there's no sugar, no grains, and it's a little bit more high fat. And I am excited about that because it's really great. I call it effortless weight loss when you really kind of turn into a fat burner. It's really powerful what your body can do and how healthy it can get. But I have this cool resource for you guys where it's a good challenge guide. And so day one, I want you guys to measure, and you can do this now if you want, but I want you to measure because I just posted on Instagram about how it's not about your weight. And even though weight can be a great measurement for some people, I really think, especially as we get to the kind of, you're in the 10-pound range of what you want to look like, or any kind of like meticulous, like maybe you're 140 pounds and you think in your head you should be 130 pounds. If that's the case, then you should be measuring, because when you build muscle, you tend to gain weight. And that's very hard for people to realize because their body looks better and their clothes look better, but the scale says a number and it still really messes with our head. And so day one and then day 21, I want you guys to measure. And so I want to teach you today how to measure your own self. Come on over. Okay, so I originally was gonna have myself measure somebody, but then I realized you guys are measuring yourself, so that makes no sense. So I'm gonna teach you how to do it on your own. Just a measuring tape if you can. If you don't have a measuring tape, and you just have the straight one, the long one that's like, you know, the construction one, you can take a piece of string and make it like 2 or 3 feet, and then every time you measure, relabel it. Does that make sense? So like you cut the string and then compare this, you use the string to measure your body and then compare the string to the hard tape. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's the way to do it, because these are nice and flexible, but it doesn't work so well when you have the really long ones. But the first measurement that I tell you to do on your guide that you guys can see in your resources if you're signed up for my challenge is your neck. And that's kind of weird, but you actually do lose weight in your neck, even though you don't think about it. So you grab, I want it right at where your Adam's apple would be if you were a dude. So if you are a dude, your Adam's apple. And then just find right here. So for me, 13. I guess you guys get to find out my measurements. Then you do chest. And so I always start a little bit lower. You want to relax your arms. Do it right at nipple line is kind of the best way. Don't squeeze. You're just really nice and loose. It is way easier if you have someone to do this for you. 34.5, and then you just move it down right to your belly button. So wherever your belly button is your point of reference. So belly button, we got, I don't know, 30.5. Then hips, you put your feet together, and you go, I actually look in the mirror for this, because you go to the biggest point of your butt. I'm trying to get my butt to grow, so hopefully it's grown since the last time I've done this. So you try to get to not high, not low, but where your biggest point of your butt is, that's your hips. I think it's grown. It's 38.5. Good. Then your arm, this one's really tough to do on your own, so if you can have someone else do it, this is easier. But it's right where, so your bone, kind of like the clavicle ends, and there's that process right here, that bump. So it's 6 inches past that bump, just to keep it even on both sides, and do it right at 6 inches. Same on the opposite side. It's really good to see measurement differences. So if my right arm is 1 inch bigger than my left arm, that's a problem. You need to figure out why are you always using your right arm, and we need to really work on maybe adding extra reps for your left arm. The legs are easy for you guys to do, so you just do, this is a really tall box. You just do here's your kneecap, you do 6 inches above your knee, but I find that people change the most around 10 inches above their knee. So you can do 2 different measurements if you want. Like for me, this part of my leg does not change, but this part of my leg does. And so it's up to you where you want to see your measurements. You could do 2, so 6 inches, and just wrap around 19, and then your calf. And you're doing this both on right side and left side. And the calf, you just do the biggest part of your calf. Ideally, you could get body fat percentages done as well, but you can figure out a rough calculation of your body fat percentage by using these measurements here and doing an online calculator. So if you Google online calculator body fat, they will ask for certain measurements. And I think they ask for your weight and height, and then you can kind of get a rough ballpark of what they think your body fat is. I don't think it's reliable at all, because that's a little bit crazy. I don't know. So it's a rough estimate, just remember that. And then you can use the same calculator to measure when you're done. Or there's some other options. There's handheld body fat calipers, which are also very unreliable, but again, same kind of thing. If you measured in the morning and measured in the morning 21 days later, it would still give you some sort of reference at your body changing, but fluid changes those very drastically. You could pinch, but those also are very dependent on who is pinching you. So one time I had one trainer pinch me, and he gave me 4% higher than the next trainer that pinched me, and they both have been training for like, I don't know, over 10 years. So it's just very variable. Very variable, but it's cool if you have access to something that's like a bod pod or an underwater hydrostic tank, which I have access to in Denver. There's this lady that does these mobile testings, and you just basically hold this weight and you take a big inhale and exhale all your air out, and you go underwater, and that's how you feel it, figure out your body fat, and it's really accurate. So that's kind of a great way to do it, but I know not everyone has that. So measurements are great, because we have to figure out something else besides the scale to see your progress, and it's important to see progress, but the scale can be very frustrating. And I just, if nothing else, if you're not doing my challenge, or if you are, stop weighing yourself every day. Only weigh yourself once a week at the most. I try to weigh myself once every 2 weeks at the most, because even to this day, I can preach to you guys all I want, but it's still, the number can be hard on people, especially we've been taught that a number is very important. And so just figure out a different measurement tool. And that's why you guys are gonna love my workouts, because they give you something else to focus on, except, you know, I'm not focusing on like calorie burn and feeling the muscle burn. It's like having fun, working out hard, sweating a lot, building muscle, and then in turn, you're gonna burn fat that way. So that's kind of just a quick overview of what I want you to do. Go print off your guide and if you sign into superherounleashed.com, you'll be able to print off the guide by the time you see this. And it's this great little guide that you can get ready for day one, starting January 11th. Grab some friends, make sure that everyone knows you're doing it, because it's way easier when there's a lot less people telling you that bacon is bad and butter is bad. If they can all learn together that fat is good, I promise your 21 days will be a little easier. But regardless, it's gonna be an awesome 21 days. And I have no idea how many days it'll be when you see this till the challenge, but it's coming up, so I'll see you guys then.